You're listening to the Live Fierce podcast, where real people share raw stories of strength built on honor, integrity, community, and commitment. These are the values that forged W.O.L.F gyms, and we are the voices behind that movement. This is the culture, this is the pack, this is the Live Fierce podcast.
I'm really excited about today, man. Super excited. We get to showcase to the world who Jason Tarantino is. The man behind the scenes that you've been working with, Tony, for how long?
2018. So what's that? 8 years almost?
Yeah, almost 8 years now. And you're the guy that's kind of, well, you're going to share your story in just a second, but you're the guy that works directly. You're our director of operations here at W.O.L.F. And you were working directly with our franchise partners to ensure that they're successful and to set them up and help them and everything from their marketing, their operations, their hiring, all that stuff, building the playbooks behind the scenes, like the man that also handles apparel, you're handling supplements, you're handling a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So you're doing everything. I like it, man.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, dude.
It's a full plate. It's a lot of hats.
Yeah.
to wear.
And you do a ton of stuff and not a lot of people know how much you do. So I'm excited for today. This is going to be fun.
Cool. Yeah. I'm excited too.
All right, dude, let's start it off. So number one, you were a member of W.O.L.F, but you didn't start immediately, right? You kind of had a different journey.
Yeah. So, I was a member. So the first W.O.L.F gym that we had was in Brigantine, which is the town I grew up in. So I was a member of that gym under the previous ownership.
Oh, this is fun.
Yeah. So it was pretty much a train wreck.
Yeah. Tell me what that was like. No knock on the previous owner.
Yeah,
what I mean is
not at all.
I think it's good we go back to that because we talked about that in the first episode. What was that like from your perspective?
Yeah. So from my perspective, it was a very tight-knit gym because I don't know what the membership got down to towards the end there, but it was slim. It was maybe less than 100 people that were members at that gym. And, it still had that feeling of this is home, just because maybe it was just because I grew up there and that was the gym in my town. But yeah, so it was on its way down. You could tell every day, things were just slipped, it wasn't clean. Nobody was tending to broken machines. Over time, things were just getting worse up until Tony showed up one day. Tony and his wife, Trish, they purchased the gym. And literally, I would say in 24 hours, it was like flipping a switch.
Yeah.
The place, first thing they did when they walked in was they cleaned the place top to bottom. And so, you never know what to expect when you see a business sold and a new owner step in. You're like, oh, okay. We'll see what happens. But immediately it was whoa, these people are serious. They know what they're doing and they care.
Yeah.
When they first walked in. So the space got cleaned. Broken equipment was getting fixed left and right until it was all fixed. New equipment started showing up. Branding started going up on the walls. And one of the first things they added to the walls was our 4 pillars today, which is honor, integrity, community, commitment. They had that established since day one. So that goes up and you're like, oh, these are the type of people and that are here. And you could even see just through walking in the door, every time you would walk in the door, they were just like, oh, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? Have a great workout. On your way out, they're like, oh, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
It was very personalized. And so, yeah, it was like the flip of a switch. And I was I felt like I was a part of it. From before, you didn't really feel like you were a part of anything other than the kind of tight-knit people that you saw there every day.
Yep.
The community started to expand. They really just put the effort in and brought everybody together. And by having conversations with everyone and bringing new people in and throwing events and getting people to mingle with each other, you finally felt like you were a part of something, and it felt like a true second home.
Yeah. What were you doing in life at that point?
So at that time I was in college.
Okay.
I was serving and bartending on the side, just paying my way through college. And it was only there, I don't know how many months it was. I can't remember now. It was maybe 3 months in, 4 months in. I was just benching, and they walked over to me in between sets and they were just like, hey, do you want to work here? And
I love it.
Yeah. And I was just like, sure. Yeah. I got a couple days a week where I can pop in and work. So it was just a front desk job.
Checking in people, making sure everything's good. Yeah.
Yeah. What our front desk is today.
Yep.
That kind of thing. So it was cool just to get to know them, because then I was one of 2 employees that they first hired. And so we sat with them like all the time, because even though they hired us to give them a little bit of a break, so that they didn't have to be there 24/7.
They're still there a lot.
They couldn't let go of it. They cared so much that they were just there all the time anyway. So I got to know them really well. And then, like I said, I was in college, so it came to a point where I needed to get an internship for my MBA. And so other people that I was in class with, they would go to, like, you know, depending on what they were doing, larger, like, corporate type internships where you're getting a foot in the door somewhere big. And just deep down, I was just always interested in how they were making it work. Like, you know, what's the secret sauce? I hate to say secret sauce because that sounds so, but, you know, why is this business doing so well? And I was just so curious, and I was in school for business. I ended up getting a concentration in finance and going into finance at first, but I was always interested in business, so I was like, I want to do my internship here. So I proposed that to them, and they were like, yeah, sure. Like, we can use the extra help. We'll show you how the business works on the backside. And then from that point forward, that's when I got like a deeper relationship with Tony and Trish, to where we became friends. But still, I didn't know what the future was at the time of W.O.L.F. So I went with what I was doing before, which was a concentration in finance. I went to be a financial advisor. So I had to pass all those exams.
And you went through the whole thing.
I went through the whole thing.
So
I spent a whole summer.
MBA, you go through. Where did you intern?
Oh, so the internship I did was with W.O.L.F.
Oh, so it was with W.O.L.F. Okay, so I wasn't sure if it was like you were interested in it, you did something else, and then still working there. So you did your full internship, then you still went into finance, and you passed all your tests, everything. Because there's a bunch.
One summer of 8 to 10 hours a day studying.
Jeez.
All that effort, plus the interview process, process that goes along with that. The office that I was joining was like 2 hours away, so I was doing the trainings, going back and forth to that.
Gosh.
Yeah, it was an experience, but you know, I never felt like that was where I was supposed to be. I was there because, you know, maybe I never put enough thought into it, what I wanted to do, but I was just like, oh, this is a good job. I'll go out and I'll get myself a good job. I'll have a good career doing this. But I never thought about like, oh, what am I going to be doing on a daily basis? You know, so I get involved in that, and I'm like, oh, I kind of hate this.
What did you hate specifically?
It didn't feel good. Like they take you through the training of what you're supposed to be doing as a financial advisor, and it's pretty cutthroat in a sense. It's like a sales job, so you're just trying to bring on new clients. And I didn't like the way they went about getting new clients. Like it didn't feel right to me. Plus, it was just, you know, I don't know how to explain it too well other than that. It just didn't feel like me. Like, I didn't feel at home there. I felt like I was just doing it as a way of making money, which is not something you want to do for your entire life if you can avoid it.
Kudos for that. Most people go 20 or 30 years hating what they do and then make a switch later after they've made money, or they're just so fed up with it that they just snap. You made it early.
Yeah, and during that time where I was kind of realizing, you know, this isn't for me, I was like, kind of scared, because I was like, oh, what am I going to do? You know, and it just was at that time I was still close with Tony and Trish, talking to them, because I was still using that gym, so I was still talking to them on a regular basis. And he would always go over his plans for the future, which was to open more locations, eventually franchise, which sounds crazy when you're starting with that one location to have aspirations like that. But I was always like, oh, well, if anybody could do it, I could see this guy doing it. So it was during that time when I was questioning what I was doing in my other career path, that I was like, well, maybe Tony needs help in what he's doing. I mean, he's doing it by himself right now, but eventually he's going to need to build a team. And so I was just like, you know, I was in kind of a rough patch, because I had spent all that time trying to achieve this one goal of becoming a financial advisor. And I had gotten there, and since that wasn't working out, I was like almost depressed. So I was praying about it a lot. And at one night as I was saying a prayer, it just popped into my head. I'm like, you should go do that. So it was like, to me, it felt like God was speaking to me to go in that direction. Yeah.
Yeah. So you feel called to do this. This is your purpose.
Yeah. So literally the next day, I got good sleep that night.
Yeah.
For the first time in weeks, probably. The next day I go to him. I was actually kind of helping him build out he was working on his second location in Absecon. So I headed over there in the middle of him building it out. I walked right up to him and I was like, hey, I got a question for you. You got a second? And I was like, hey, I know this is the path that you've talked about, that you've laid out in front of yourself and that you're trying to achieve. I would love to be a part of it in any way. And I know that right now that means maybe you need a manager for this location. I'd love to be that person for you if you're willing to let me take that on. And he was like, yeah. He talked to Trish about it, but he was like, yeah, of course, let's do it.
That's awesome.
And so it went from that to me managing that location to a few months later, the third location shows up.
So you managed Absecon or did you manage Brigantine originally?
Absecon, I was still helping out at Brigantine.
Okay.
There was a point, so the third location opens up, and it was cool because for the third one in Northfield, what we have is Northfield now, I was there for the entire process because I was already with the company at that point.
Yep.
So
you got to see everything.
Getting my hands dirty on the build out, which we got our hands very dirty because we're on a budget.
Yep.
So that was really cool just to see the whole process start to finish. And by finish, I mean to full scale, which it's at today. That was awesome. So it went from that third location, and then he was like, okay, now we're ready to, let's step into the franchise game.
Yep.
And so from that point forward, it's history from there.
Yeah. When did you come on full time? What year?
Great question. I want to say 2021 is when Absecon opened, and I started with him full time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. And what's interesting is I got a question. What was your training like? Like when you came on and you came full time and then started managing? Because before you were front desk, right? And then you stepped away during.
I stepped away for a while.
Stepped away. Then you were like, you know what? I want to come back in, help. You kind of started helping again. Then you went full time as GM. What was that like? The training to get prepped to become a GM? Or was it kind of throwing you out there and you got to sink or swim?
So I got a good amount of experience because, like I said, I did the internship with them where I kind of learned. I essentially learned how to manage the Brigantine location through that internship. But like I said before, they're super hands-on. So even with Absecon, I wasn't really thrown into the fire, maybe on certain tasks, but they were still very present in the location. So as things were coming up, it was always a learning experience for me. And, by the time 3 locations are done, you've kind of seen most of what can happen throughout the beginning stages of opening a gym to operating the gym, especially in the beginning, and then as you get to scale. So
especially with how y'all open those, the way that you did it, you saw a lot.
Yeah, but to this day, it wasn't like, oh, here I've learned all this stuff, now I can go apply it. There's always something new that you're learning because even this week, there's probably a list of stuff that I've learned that are brand new. So it's constantly learning. And at every stage of it, especially when, we started franchising, and that was even Tony's first experience franchising. Sometimes you learn the hard way on a lot of stuff, but I think we're getting better at that now. So we don't have to learn everything the hard way.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
for sure. What, in your opinion, because you work closely with our franchisees, so the way it kind of works is I kind of am on the front end now with Tony and helping go out and get new franchise partners. Right. And then once they become franchise partners, then it's a handoff, right? And you kind of take them from there, right? Yeah. There's kind of an in-between where we're working with real estate and you're part of that as well. But more so once they sign the lease, then it's on to you.
We have a space and then, that's when I usually start talking to people.
Yeah. And so you've had a chance to talk to a lot of franchise partners that are operators that are essentially the GM and the operators of the space. And then you also have worked with others that have GMs in place, right? In your opinion, with your experience as a GM and looking at others, what makes a great general manager of a W.O.L.F facility? What are some of the traits that they need to have?
Yeah, I would say you need to be able to sense that they care. And they're never going to care on the level of the person that has the skin in the game, right?
Yeah.
But you want to get as close to that as possible. If it's a job for them where they're just checking in and out every day or clocking in and out every day, and you sense that from them, that this is just a paycheck, then it's probably not going to work out, especially not long term.
Yeah.
They need to care. They need to treat it as their own baby, basically.
Yeah. How do you think they do that, though? Because they don't have ownership.
Yeah, they don't have ownership. You could do it through, for a lot of the GMs we have, they have incentives to perform. So you could do it through that. But I don't know if everybody just is going to have that even with incentives. I think they kind of have to have that beforehand, where you meet them and maybe you interview them or you know them in some capacity before you hire them as your GM, and you just know the type of person that they are. I think you need to find the people that have that characteristic.
And when you say care, do you mean care more about people or care in the sense of they have very low tolerance, meaning they expect excellence and they want to be great at running and managing this facility, or all of the above?
Yeah, pretty much all of the above. From somebody that does have skin in the game, they care about everything. They care about the people that are walking in. They care about how the business is doing financially, because otherwise it fails if it's not doing well. They care about a piece of dust being on the floor as you walk in. If you treat it like it's your own, that's how you would treat it, right?
So you want them to take ownership.
Exactly. Yeah. Care across the board.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. What are the things that you see that typically keep franchise partners who are operating, or the ones that have GMs that are struggling, right? If they're struggling, not growing as fast as they want to, or maybe they're having issues, what are some of the common themes that you see, whether it's traits or whether it's work ethic or actions they're taking or not taking, that's keeping them from growing or reaching the level of success that they could?
To be honest with you, I think a lot of it has to do with work ethic. I think some people, we give a good blueprint, right? Of, you can follow these steps. The ones that aren't following it will not find success, because, it's one thing if somebody has another idea of how to do something and they want to present that to us, and if it's a good idea, we'll run with that. But for people that just, we ask them to do something, or the owner of the facility asks them to do something, and it takes forever, or it's not being done to the level that was requested, or it's not being done at all. It's always those situations where, they're falling short. Why are they falling short? Oh, they didn't do the task they were asked to do, or they didn't do it well, or they're taking too long to do it. So I think it comes back, a lot of it comes back to work ethic, because at the end of the day, there's a set of tasks that need to be done in order to achieve a certain goal, and all you have to do is do them. But
why do you think, in your experience, why do you think they don't do those sometimes? Do you think it's out of boredom, or they forget, or they get distracted? Or when you say work ethic, because I'm assuming most of them think that they have a good work ethic, and I'm not just talking about ours, I'm talking about business owners in general at this point, right? Because I think what you mentioned is a common theme among very successful people. They have a work ethic, and they do the right thing the right amount of times, which is usually way more than what the normal person would do. Why do you think the ones that maybe are seeing okay success, or are not reaching their full potential, why is it that they're just maybe not doing the work?
It's hard to get into somebody's brain and see why they're not doing the work, but I do think people, so maybe they get bored, maybe they just get lazy over time. You do the same thing over and over, where that kind of almost goes back to having incentives for an operator or a GM, because let's say you do have somebody that shows up for their first 3 months and is doing very well, doing everything you're asking them to do, achieving the goals, and it doesn't get them anywhere, they just, okay, I made the same on this paycheck as I made on the last paycheck, even though I hit this big goal or whatever.
Reward systems.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you have to make them feel like, okay, you hit that goal, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. Positive reinforcement helps a lot as well. Instead of just, letting them run it and then kind of being hands off, if they do something well, let them know they did something well, reward them for it. Like you said, that at least keeps them engaged and will keep them working to the next goal because they know there's, something for them at the end of it.
How has Tony and Trish done that for you?
They've been great to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely do that. They definitely reward me when I do well, incentivize me to do better. But, I would put myself into that category of somebody that cares a lot. Like, obviously. I do not want to let them down at all. And that's a big thing for me. It's like I'm going to be maybe even more mad at myself than they would be at me if I fall short. Because, they've been great to me over the years that I've been working for them. So I just really want to deliver for them. You know?
This may sound crazy, but I see a lot of similar traits in you as with me. Because you have an innate desire to be great at whatever task is put in front of you, and you don't have an ego about it, and you're willing to go do whatever. And you also are very loyal to the people that you care about, and you don't want to let them down. And I have those same type of people in my life, and it's the same feeling, which is cool. And you're willing to do whatever it takes, and you want to do your best because you care about those people, and you also care about the business. I totally understand that. What's something that people, so you handle and work with the franchises. Tell me something what is your average day? Because it's all over the place right now.
Yeah,
right now,
I don't think I have an average day.
I know. I feel like it's just constant. You're doing something different all the time. You're at a location. You're shooting content for a grand opening. You're doing an order on apparel. You're doing supplement orders. You're managing something. You're meeting with legal about something. Yeah. Give me kind of what is your typical, well, let's do this. Let's go broad. What does your typical week look like? What are some of the things when you set up your week that you're trying to get done?
Yeah. So I break it down to small projects and big projects. Okay. I have tasks, given to me at any point that take 10 minutes. And sometimes I'm given projects that it's a 3-4 month project. So time management is huge. Organization with what I'm going to be scheduling out for myself is huge. If I went on on a day-to-day what I'm doing, first of all, it starts with a workout. Yep. Because it just gets my mind right. I got to do it. Then, I'm hopping on, checking through emails, seeing who I have to contact that day, talking to some of the franchisees, picking up where I left off the day before as far as conversations and stuff like that, making sure I deliver everything that I promised from the day before. And then that goes into, like I said, just kind of the tasks that I have, which are always varying, but I'm the type of person, I don't know if you might be the same way, but if I have a bunch of little things and then some bigger things, let me just get the little ones out of the way. And then, okay, I got 6 hours that I can put towards whatever this big task is.
I'm the opposite.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You do the big thing first?
I'd rather wake up at 4, block my calendar from 4 a.m. to 10 or 11 because then no one's up and no one's hitting me up.
That's true.
Because then I can just get that big thing done. And then I know the little things are just little tasks because then I can just set them up and I can just knock them out. And then I don't need as much brain power for the little tasks, but the big one I probably need more brain power for. Yeah. So I bookend. So that's funny.
Oh, yeah. I might have to try that.
I switch that. Yeah, I switch it up. I found it helps a lot when you have bigger projects, especially if it's you need a lot of thinking or creative time. I block that out and it's every day. I remember we had a massive project that I was doing and it was it took us 8 weeks. And I was waking up from 4 to and I was working 4 to 10. And I told the team that I was managing at the time, I have no meetings from 4 to 10. Do not put anything on my calendar. It is fully blocked. And just, man, the volume at which I was able to do at that time was nuts because it's just fully blocked out, no distractions. I had to work out in the evening, but man, I got a lot of stuff done.
I think I might try that.
It's worth it. I would highly suggest it to anyone, to any entrepreneur, because then you think about, okay, if the day was successful, right? My whole goal is to knock that big major thing that moves the business forward. Mm-hmm. And if my brain power is the best in the morning, like post-workout, right? Maybe you're the best, like get you going. Then it's like post-workout, I'm going to block 4 hours. Because the problem is, right? I feel this and you probably feel this too. You got a block. Let's say you got a block of like 3 hours and then you get hit up. And it's like, hey, can you go do this? Yeah. And then, hey, can you do this? Hey, I need this. Hey, this happens. The hard part is sometimes you got to say yes. But then what happens, you get distracted. So then you can't fully focus on the one thing. Then you get back to when you're like, well, shoot, I only got like an hour left. I might as well go to these small tasks. And then you get hit up again. And then it just becomes a day where you're reactive rather than being proactive. And so blocking that time and being willing to say, hey, I have this time blocked for this big project. I cannot do anything else. And then letting the team know, dude, it's so freeing.
That's a good idea to wake up before the day really gets started for everybody else too.
You beat them, man. Yeah. You beat them. Because then by the time everybody's up at 6, 7 or whatever, you're already like 2 or 3 hours deep. And like you're just getting after it. Yeah. Yeah, it helps a lot.
All right. I'm literally gonna try that.
Do it. I'm telling it's a game changer. It's a game changer. Yep. I'll do it with you. If you got big projects and you need me, I'll do it. I'll do it with you. We can work together. I'm down.
Cool.
So we'll just hop on Zoom. We'd be terrible at 4 a.m. That'd be rough, but we can knock it out.
I won't look that great. Camera off.
Nah, yeah, camera off. What's funny is I've actually done that, big projects and had that. What's the hardest part of your job?
Let me think on that for a second.
I hate using the word job too. Your role and what you do.
Right. I would say the hardest part might be coming up with solutions for problems I haven't seen before myself. I think I have a good amount of experience, but there's still things that come across. You know, a franchisee hits me up and they're dealing with this, or maybe they even followed some steps that we had given them to achieve success in a certain area, and they're still not realizing success. So we need to revisit that. And so one of the hard things is coming up with something basically brand new for a certain situation. And, you know, there's a lot riding on that because, you know, this is their livelihood. From the franchisee's perspective, they need a solution for that problem.
Yep.
And so, you know, I got to go find that in a timely manner sometimes. So there's some pressure involved with that, but you know, at the end of the day, I have a good team to fall back on too. You, Tony, I can say, oh, hey, we got this problem. I don't really know the answer. I can go try to find out, but what do you guys think about this? Yep. That's what's great about the team that we've built so far is that it's very open. Like we can just bring any problems to each other. Yep. But I would say that's one of the hardest things is dealing with brand new problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in this. And it also is harder because I get that because you also you care deeply about our franchise partners and the brand.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that it's a great experience. What is your favorite part during the entire process for a new franchise partner?
One of my favorite parts is getting to that opening day.
Yeah.
Those maybe, you know, 2-3 weeks leading up to that opening day where, you know, sometimes it feels like a slow burn to get to, you know, those last couple of weeks where like things are kind of happening, they're happening. Oh man, we're opening in 2 weeks. Yeah. Let's bring it all together. And then, you know, all the equipment's going into place, the front desk, all the little final details are going in. You know, the community is starting to reach out with more and more questions that you're like, okay, here it comes. Like we're about to do this. We're opening on next Saturday or whatever it is. Yep. And so that's just always a super exciting time. And then you get to see the franchisee get to experience that too. Yeah. Where they're like, oh my God, this is really happening. Like I took this this leap of faith into a business opportunity and now it's really happening. Like we're about to open our doors. Yep. That's always killer.
That's awesome. That. What's something about Tony that most people don't know or wouldn't expect? Because you've been around him, you've been his right-hand man for a while now, right? So what's something that people don't know about him?
I don't know. Maybe a lot of people know this, but he's a big old teddy bear.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
Yeah, he's you know, he gets down to business, and you know, he can be like ruthless about business sometimes. Where, you know, a lot of people are counting on him and us for their livelihoods, like I just said.
Yep.
So, but at the end of the day, you know, he goes so far out of his way to help people out. He goes so far out of his way to make people feel like they're part of the family, especially the franchisees and all the staff that's involved with all the locations. He's extremely generous in that way.
He's insanely generous.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing. Like one of the most generous guys I've ever met. He's so much fun to work with. You are too. It's been a blast, man, getting in here and working with you. I'm excited. What do you think is the next, where do you see W.O.L.F going?
This year or just in general? Like
in general.
Yeah. I mean, I see it being the next recognizable large gym franchise in the U.S. It's like getting up there with those big names as like a top 5 franchise in the U.S. Eventually is where I can see it going. You know, maybe past the U.S. one day. I don't know. But
that'd be the goal.
Right now I'm focused on the U.S.
Yeah, let's do U.S. I love it.
But I see it, you know, just being one of those big name, a household name basically of gym franchises.
If you could, last question, if you could give any advice to anyone that's thinking about starting or joining W.O.L.F, they're reaching out, they're thinking about W.O.L.F. You're someone who's ran and managed multiple W.O.L.F locations, right? You work intimately with our franchise partners and you work with them to help them, support them, and everything else. What is probably one piece of advice or biggest piece of advice that you would give them?
To somebody coming into like thinking about being a franchisee or thinking
about being a franchisee with W.O.L.F.
Yeah, one piece of advice, be all in.
I love that.
Don't do this as like a side hustle. You know, if you're gonna do this, do it the right way.
Yeah,
you'll be able to do it if you go all in. If you don't go all in, I can't guarantee.
Don't dabble.
Yeah,
just like you did, right? You stepped away from one and you were like, you know what? Nope, God is calling me to do something, and you went all in on that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the gym business is not an easy business to make it in. Especially if you're doing it on your own. But if you come into our system, you still got to put the work in. You still have to be heavily involved. You got to know your numbers. You got to know your people, your members. You got to be a part of it. It has to be your child, an extension of you. So, yeah, be all in.
Dude, I love that. That's a great way to finish. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, man.
All right, dude. Live fierce.
Hell yeah.